Vivek says, following up on something from a conversation with Sanga. Yeah, if you guys haven't listened to it yet, we did a red inker with him talking about great batting. Obviously, it's for my book, but we put it up straight away because Sanga's got a business that he's also trying to get some attention for. So he says, is there anything that you'd have done differently if you're part of England's red ball setup to get more out of Josh Butler, their test batter? I suppose if he played now, he'd probably just be more, he'd be better off. I thought Josh Butler was always going to struggle as a red ball player because he didn't have a background of making red ball runs. And I think it is very, very hard if that is the kind of player that you are. I think they put undue pressure on him when they brought him into the side and made him a specialist number 7 batter, of which JP Dooman and a couple of Bangladeshi players are the only players really in the last 20 years to have done that role. I think that's I think that cluttered him a little bit. I think he would have preferred to play as a wicketkeeper, but they didn't want to do that because of everything else. So I think they made a mistake bringing him in the way that they did. So I suppose that would be one thing, try and bring him in when he's in the right position. They also batted him too high. Like, if he's never made professional runs before, batting him at number 5 was probably never going to work. Needed to be at 6, probably 7 consistently. So that was another thing I wouldn't have done. I think if he was in... I remember him playing in Sri Lanka when he played really, really well. And every test match he came in with a completely different theory. I would have loved if he'd done the same thing against seam bowling. As a T20 analyst who had to work against him, bowl at 1.5 foot outside off stump, slightly back of a length, and have as many slips in as you feel comfortable with, and you know he's going to nick one. Just hope that it goes to hand. In a test match, that's a bigger thing. So you could almost say to him, well, look what you did in Sri Lanka, where there was one game when you ran down the wicket, there's another game when you swept everything, there's another game when you reverse swept everything, right? Why not do the same thing against seam? You know where they're going to bowl to you. You know that's your weakness. How can you overcome it? Which I suppose is a more baseball way of looking at it. I think that would have been really, really interesting with Josh Butler. I'm not sure if that would have worked, but I think that would have been interesting.